This is not financial advice, it's not legal advice for entertainment and educational purposes only. And anything I say is my opinion. Please don't make any financial decision based on anything I say in these videos. That being said, hit the like button, subscribe button, all that YouTube algorithm stuff so you get the videos I put them out. See, I'm thinking, see, I'm analyzing that data. But like I tell every day, the day they release us is false. They're going to give some false narrative to the market so we can make bad trading decisions. Listen, the Federal Court of Appeals made a decision in my case. They sent it back to the Federal District Court for the District Court to rule on my motions. I'm going to tell you guys something. This decision scares the shit out of me because the way it's written, and this is just my opinion, the bad actors have undue influence over our court system. It's really, really scary. Okay? It's really, really scary. First of all, my lawsuit was about the fraud and corruption in AMC. I only mentioned GameStop as far as the preliminary hearing for a share count. Okay? I focused on AMC in my lawsuit. I focused on the dog pool. I focused on the fraud and corruption in AMC. Yet, this court's decision doesn't mention AMC once. I told them about my AMC shares. I told them about the spoofing in AMC. I told them about everything relating with AMC. Yet they didn't mention AMC once, not once, in their decision. Their decision only lists GameStop. GameStop wasn't the focus of my lawsuit. I didn't mention anything about the January 21st buy button fiasco. That had nothing to do with my lawsuit. My lawsuit was about the fraud and corruption and the money I lost because of what they were doing with AMC. Yet the courts didn't mention AMC once in their decision. I mean, this is really, really scary to me. It tells me that these bad actors control the courts. And while the judges, the federal court, the Court of Appeals, remanded it back to the district court, they didn't make any decisions on the merits of the case. They didn't. They left it in limbo. They left it for the courts to decide. They're saying that I didn't give the lower courts enough time to make a decision, which is totally inaccurate because the lower court refused to answer, dismissed the case, and forced me to appeal it. But the thing is, they can't rule for the plaintiffs, for the defendants. They can't rule for Ken Griffin and Citadel in their lawsuit because they would establish precedents. And they would establish precedents saying that all you have to do is get a judge who is not going to force you to engage in discovery, and your case will be dismissed. And they can't rule that. So because they can't rule that you don't have to participate in discovery, they just sent the case back down to the courts. Now here's the thing. They've had this case for 2 years. For 2 years. It took them 2 years to decide that they're not going to rule on the merits and they're going to send it back down for the lower court to make a decision. All they did was give these bad actors a 2-year head start. This is really, really scary. Now, this is what it says. Plaintiff case in this pro se action arising from investment losses allegedly caused by the January 2021 GameStop short selling incident. This is not what my lawsuit was about. My lawsuit was not about GameStop. It was about the fraud and corruption in AMC, and I guess their bosses told them that they can't mention AMC in this decision. This is really, really scary. These bad actors have undue influence over our court systems. Not once is AMC mentioned, okay? And other market manipulation schemes, he claims, were orchestrated by the various individual, corporate entities, and government agencies named as defendants in the case. The district court dismissed the case without prejudice when the parties failed to submit a joint scheduling report within the time frame required by the pretrial order. Plaintiff appeals the dismissal, and he has also appealed the district court's ruling as it's related to motions to reopen the case, require defendants to participate in the scheduling process, impose Rule 37 sanctions, and grant preliminary injunction relief, among other things. The decision from the courts mentions briefly some of the claims in my case, but it fails to mention the meat and potatoes of my case, the primary reason for the lawsuit, which is the fraud and corruption in AMC. They added this January 21st GameStop incident into my lawsuit. This was never part of my lawsuit. They invented facts to support what they wanted to do. Listen. Retail investors are in trouble. We really are in trouble. Because at this point, when you have the Court of Appeals, and the Court of Appeals is 3 separate justices, and you have 3 separate justices making a decision and failing to mention AMC once, it's scary. And the reason they failed to mention AMC because they were told not to mention AMC. They were told not to mention AMC because they knew the algorithms would pick it up, the news feeds would pick it up, and everybody would know about the lawsuit. But because GameStop is all over the place and there's so many GameStop lawsuits, they keep adding GameStop in order to stop the algos from picking up their decision in the case. But one of the good things is the lower courts knows that I know how to appeal. So now, when it goes back down to the district court, and the appellate court has ordered them to make a decision. Once they make a decision, if the decision is contrary to the law, I will be appealing this again. And I'm even considering maybe I should appeal this to the Supreme Court of the United States of America, because I do not like this decision. Even though the judge did deny Ken Griffin's motion to dismiss the case, the courts did do that. The courts suppressed AMC in their order. They keep mentioning GameStop. And the only reason they could do that when GameStop was not the focus of my lawsuit is because the bad actors told them to do that. The bad actors told them to do that. This is very, very scary. And I'm not even sure that we live in a democracy anymore. Okay? I am not sure we live in a democracy anymore. This decision, while it's positive, we will get to file motions. We might even get to discovery because the lower courts will be forced to make some decisions. The lower courts will be forced to make some decisions. But the fact that they failed to mention AMC even once in this decision tells me that we are in trouble as a society when the lower court and the Court of Appeals make decisions that I consider, in my opinion, to the result of undue influence by outside forces. Anyway, please leave some comments. Tell me what you think. Why do you think the courts didn't even mention AMC once when AMC, the fraud in AMC, was a focus of my lawsuit? Anyway, have a great day. God bless, and I appreciate y'all on this journey with me.